When billionaire CEO Elias Thorne receives a wedding invitation from the ex-girlfriend who shattered his heart, he refuses to show up alone. On impulse, he offers a mysterious homeless woman $10,000 to be his date. But Clara isn't who she appears to be. Beneath her tattered clothes lies a woman who once belonged to high society, until Elias's ex destroyed her family and stole everything. Now Clara has returned for revenge. As they work together to expose the truth and bring down a powerful enemy, their fake arrangement becomes dangerously real. Sometimes the best revenge is finding love. Hey family, welcome to Real Life Heart Stories. Please subscribe and give this video a like. It truly means the world to us. Don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thank you so much for the support. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. The envelope landed on Elias Thorne's mahogany desk with a soft thud that somehow echoed through his entire penthouse office. Ivory paper, gold lettering, the kind of expensive stationery that whispered old money and careful planning. He didn't need to open it to know what it was. The return address told him everything. Vivien Arlo. His hand trembled slightly as he picked it up. 3 years. 3 years since she'd walked out of his life without warning, without explanation. Just a note that said, "I need stability, Elias. You're too unpredictable." 2 weeks later, she was engaged to Alden Vexley, a man whose entire personality could be summarized as safe. Now this. He tore open the envelope and pulled out the card. Embossed roses framed the words, "You are cordially invited to celebrate the union of Vivien Arlo and Alden Vexley." Cordially invited, he muttered, the words tasting like ash. How generous! His best friend and business partner, Corbin Vance, walked in holding 2 cups of coffee. He took one look at Elias's face and whistled low. "Let me guess. The Ice Queen sent you an invitation to watch her marry Mr. Boring." Elias threw the card across the desk. "She has some nerve." Corbin picked it up, scanned it, and laughed. "Damn, that's cold. So, are you going? And show up alone?" Elias stood abruptly, pacing to the window. The city sprawled below him, a kingdom he'd built from nothing. Let her see me standing there like some pathetic ghost from her past? No. Then don't go alone. Corbin leaned against the desk, arms crossed. Take someone. Show her you've moved on to something better. Elias shook his head. Vivien knows me too well. She'd see through anyone I brought. She'd know it was fake. Then make it real enough that she questions everything. The idea settled over him like a challenge. Not just any woman would do. He needed someone unforgettable. Someone who would make Vivien wonder if leaving him was the biggest mistake of her life. But who? "You've got that look," Corbin said, grinning. "The one you get right before you do something crazy." "I need someone she's never seen before," Elias said slowly, his mind already working. "Someone she can't predict. Someone who'll walk into that wedding and turn every head in the room." "Where are you going to find someone like that in?" Corbin checked his watch. 3 days. Elias grabbed his coat. "I don't know yet, but I'll know her when I see her." As he left his office, the invitation remained on his desk, roses mocking him with their perfect, printed smiles. He didn't know it yet, but the answer to his problem was sitting on a cold sidewalk 6 blocks away, waiting for fate to finally tip in her favor. The evening air bit through Elias's coat as he walked past the rows of expensive cafes and bars in the financial district. His mind churned with possibilities, none of them good enough. He needed someone extraordinary, someone real. But where did you find real in a city built on fake smiles and networking lunches? That's when he saw her. She sat on the sidewalk outside a closed bookstore, knees drawn to her chest, dark curls falling wild around her face. Her jacket was torn at the shoulder, her shoes mismatched, but what caught his attention wasn't her appearance. It was her posture. Despite everything, the dirt on her cheeks, the clear exhaustion, she sat with her spine straight, chin lifted, like she was simply resting between kingdoms rather than begging for change. Most people hurried past her. Elias found himself slowing down. Their eyes met. Hers didn't plead. They assessed him, cool and calculating, like she was deciding if he was worth her time. On impulse, he stopped. "You need money?" he asked. The woman's lips curved into a small, sharp smile. "What is this? A social experiment? You ask a question, toss a coin, and feel better about your day." Elias blinked. No one spoke to him like that, ever. "I have a proposition," he said, recovering. "I'll pay you. Enough to change your situation. All you have to do is dress up and come to an event with me." She studied him for a long moment, then laughed. A quiet, genuine sound that held no hope, only amusement. "Wow, do you always pitch salvation like it's a business deal? Or is this just for kicks? Are you interested or not?" She stood slowly, brushing dust from her threadbare jeans. She was shorter than he expected, but something in the way she moved made her seem taller. "How much?" she asked. $10,000. One night. Her eyebrows rose. "That's a lot of money for arm candy. What's the catch?" "No catch. You show up, smile, make small talk. That's it." "And what kind of event requires you to hire a stranger off the street?" "A wedding." Understanding flickered across her face. "Ah, your ex." He didn't answer, which was answer enough. She tilted her head, considering. "I'll come," she said finally. "But not for the money." "Then why?" A slow, dangerous smile spread across her face. "I'm curious. I want to see how far a man like you is willing to go." Elias felt something shift in his chest, uncertainty mixed with intrigue. "What's your name? Does it matter?" "It does to me." She paused, then extended her hand. "Clara." Her grip was firm, confident. The handshake of someone who'd once held power. "My car is around the corner," Elias said. "We don't have much time." Clara followed him without hesitation, and as they walked away from that cold sidewalk, neither of them realized they were walking straight into a collision that would destroy everything they thought they knew. The car ride through the city was surprisingly quiet. Elias kept glancing at Clara from the corner of his eye. She sat completely relaxed, watching the blur of lights through the window like someone who'd ridden in luxury cars 100 times before. "You're not even curious where we're going?" he asked. "Someplace expensive, I imagine." She didn't look at him. "You're not exactly dressed for McDonald's." Despite everything, he smiled. "We're going to a styling salon. You'll need a dress, hair, makeup, the full treatment. And you think that'll be enough?" "Enough for what?" "To make your ex regret losing you." Now she turned to face him. "That's what this is about, isn't it?" Elias's jaw tightened. "You're very direct. Life's too short for games." She studied his face. "Let me guess, she left you for someone safer. Someone predictable. And now she's getting married. And you can't stand the thought of watching it happen while you're alone. How did you?" "You have the look, the jaw clench, the staring into the distance like you're plotting revenge." She leaned back. "It's written all over you." He was quiet for a moment. "And if that's true?" Clara shrugged. "Then I hope she's worth all this effort." The car pulled up to L'Atelier, one of the most exclusive styling houses in the city. Crystal chandeliers glowed behind floor-to-ceiling windows. Staff in elegant black uniforms waited inside. Clara stepped out of the car without hesitation. No nervousness, no wide-eyed wonder, just calm acceptance. Inside, the salon smelled of expensive perfume and fresh flowers. The manager approached immediately, sizing up Clara with professional interest. "I want a complete transformation," Elias told him. "Hair, makeup, wardrobe, everything." "Of course, Mr. Thorne." The manager gestured to his team. "We'll take excellent care of her." As stylists began to gather around Clara, Elias caught her eye. "If you want to back out, now's the time." She smiled. "Why?" "Starting to think I won't clean up well enough for your designer revenge plot. I expected someone more impressionable." "Sorry to disappoint." She sat in the styling chair, meeting his gaze in the mirror. "I'm not easily dazzled." "I'm starting to see that." A stylist began carefully untangling her hair. Clara closed her eyes. "Don't be so surprised," she murmured. I've been in this world before. Elias frowned. What does that mean? But before she could answer, the stylists whisked her away behind a partition. He sat in the waiting area, checking his watch every few minutes. 2 hours passed. Then 3. What was taking so long? Finally, the manager appeared. Mr. Thorne? We're ready. Elias stood and walked back into the main salon. Then he stopped breathing. The woman standing beneath the chandelier wasn't the person he'd found on the street. She was someone else entirely, someone he suddenly realized might be far more dangerous than he'd ever imagined. Clara stood in the center of the salon, transformed yet somehow unchanged. Her wild curls had been tamed into soft, elegant waves that framed her face. The smudged exhaustion was gone, replaced by flawless makeup that highlighted sharp cheekbones and eyes that now gleamed like polished obsidian. The midnight blue gown hugged her curves perfectly off-shoulder, sophisticated, powerful. But what stopped Elias in his tracks wasn't the physical transformation. It was the way she looked at herself in the mirror. No surprise, no wonder, just quiet recognition, like she was greeting an old friend she hadn't seen in years. You're not shocked, he said, unable to hide his confusion. Clara turned to face him. Should I be? Most people would be. I'm not most people. She picked up a small velvet clutch the stylist offered. You already knew that, or you wouldn't have chosen me. Elias stepped closer, studying her face. Who are you really? Her eyes met his with unsettling calm. Someone who knows an opportunity when she sees one. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight. She walked past him toward the exit, heels clicking against marble. We have a wedding to attend, remember? In the car, Elias couldn't stop stealing glances at her. The city lights played across her face as she stared out the window, completely at ease in her new appearance. You said you've been in this world before, he pressed. What did you mean? Exactly what it sounded like. Clara, do you always interrogate your dates? She turned to him with a slight smile. Or am I special? You're hiding something. Everyone's hiding something. Her voice softened. The question is whether it matters. Before he could respond, the car slowed. They'd arrived. Halden Court rose before them, a sprawling estate wrapped in silk banners and golden light. Photographers crowded the marble steps, cameras flashing as wealthy guests emerged from luxury vehicles. Elias stepped out first. Immediately, cameras turned his way. Then Clara emerged. The crowd went silent for a heartbeat. Then the murmurs started. Who is she? I've never seen her before. Look at that dress. Photographers pushed forward, cameras clicking rapidly. Clara didn't flinch. She smiled gracefully, as if this was exactly where she belonged. Elias offered his arm. She took it with the poise of royalty. As they climbed the steps together, he leaned close. Follow my lead. Smile. Be polite. Don't draw too much attention. Clara's smile widened. Then you brought me for the wrong reason. Meaning, you didn't bring me to be invisible, Elias. Her voice was soft but certain. You brought me to be unforgettable. Before he could reply, the doors opened. Inside, crystal chandeliers sparkled above a sea of designer gowns and tailored tuxedos. Everyone who mattered in the city was here. And standing near the center of it all, radiant in white silk, was Vivien Arlo. Their eyes met across the room. Vivien's smile faltered. The game had begun. The ballroom buzzed with elegant conversation and soft classical music. Elias guided Clara through the crowd, aware of the eyes following them. Whispers trailed in their wake like expensive perfume. Then Vivien appeared, gliding toward them with practiced grace. She wore a pre-wedding cocktail dress, white silk that clung to her like water. Her fiancé, Alden Vexley, followed behind her, looking uncomfortable in his perfectly tailored tuxedo. Elias. Vivien's smile was bright and sharp. What a surprise. I wasn't sure you'd come. Of course I came. His voice was cool. I wouldn't miss it. Vivien's eyes slid to Clara, scanning her from head to toe with thinly veiled curiosity. And who is your lovely guest? We haven't been introduced. Before Elias could speak, Clara extended her hand. Clara, it's a pleasure to meet you. Vivien took her hand slowly, her smile tightening. Clara, that's an unusual name. Have we met before? You look familiar. Do I? Clara's expression remained perfectly pleasant. I suppose I have one of those faces. Where are you from? Here and there. I've moved around quite a bit. Vivien's eyes narrowed slightly. And how did you and Elias meet? Clara glanced at Elias with a subtle smile. By chance. Sometimes the best things happen when you're not looking for them. The implication hung in the air. Vivien's smile became brittle. Alden, clearly sensing the tension, raised his champagne glass awkwardly. Well, we're glad you both could make it. Shall we toast? Of course. Clara accepted a glass from a passing waiter. Congratulations on your engagement. Marriage is such a serious commitment. Thank you, Vivien said carefully. I was engaged once myself, Clara continued casually. Didn't work out, though. His family thought I wasn't the right match. Funny how that happens, isn't it? The words landed like stones in still water. Vivien's smile froze. That's unfortunate. I thought so too, but now I realize it was a blessing. Clara took a delicate sip of champagne. Sometimes people show you who they really are when things get difficult. Better to know early than to waste years building something on a lie. Elias barely breathed. What was she doing? Vivien's face had gone pale beneath her makeup. What an interesting perspective, isn't it? Clara set down her glass. Well, I don't want to monopolize your time. I'm sure you have many guests to greet. Elias, would you like to dance? Without waiting for an answer, she took his hand and led him toward the dance floor. As they walked away, Elias glanced back. Vivien stood frozen, watching them with an expression he'd never seen on her face before, uncertainty mixed with something that looked almost like fear. What just happened? He whispered. Clara's smile was mysterious as they reached the dance floor. I told you I'd be unforgettable. She placed one hand on his shoulder, and they began to move to the music. And somewhere behind them, Vivien Arlo was beginning to remember things she'd worked very hard to forget. The dance floor glittered beneath chandeliers as Elias and Clara moved together. She followed his lead perfectly, her movements fluid and practiced. You did that on purpose, he murmured, keeping his voice low. Did what? Her expression was innocent. That story about being engaged. You rattled her. Clara's eyes gleamed. I told you I've lived in this world before. He pulled her slightly closer as they turned. You keep saying that like it's supposed to explain everything. But it doesn't. Who are you really? Does it matter right now? She looked past his shoulder toward where Vivien stood, watching them with barely concealed agitation. You wanted to make an impression. I'm making one. This feels like more than that. Her gaze returned to his face. Maybe it is. Before he could press further, a group of businessmen approached, champagne glasses in hand and curiosity on their faces. Thorne, one of them called. Didn't expect to see you here. Brave man, showing up to your ex's wedding. Elias shook hands smoothly. Just supporting an old friend. The men's attention immediately shifted to Clara. And who is your stunning companion? Clara smiled warmly and extended her hand. Clara, lovely to meet you. The pleasure is ours, one man said, clearly charmed. What do you do, Clara? Right now, I'm between ventures, but I've been watching the tech investment space closely. Artificial intelligence, data trading, market manipulation. Fascinating developments. The men exchanged surprised glances. This wasn't typical cocktail party conversation. You follow tech investments? One asked, intrigued. When I can. The patterns are interesting, especially how certain companies manipulate their valuations before IPOs. She took a sip of champagne. Though I suppose that's not appropriate dinner conversation. The men laughed, but their interest had been caught. They began peppering her with questions, leaning in closer, completely captivated. Elias watched in amazement. She wasn't just holding her own, she was commanding the conversation. Then a new voice cut through the group. I don't believe we've been properly introduced. Everyone turned. Dorian Langford stood there, silver-haired, steel-eyed, one of the most powerful investors in the city. A man Elias had spent years cultivating a relationship with. Clara turned to him with a graceful smile. Clara, and you must be Mr. Langford. I've read about your portfolio. Impressive diversification. Langford's eyebrows rose. You've done your homework. I like to know who shapes the markets I follow. And your connection to Mr. Thorne? Clara glanced at Elias, something unreadable in her eyes. Let's just say we have a mutually beneficial arrangement. Langford chuckled. Confidence. I like that. You must join us for dinner sometime. I'd like to hear more of your insights. I'd enjoy that. As Langford walked away, Elias caught Clara's wrist gently. We need to talk. Now. He led her to a quiet corner of the ballroom, away from prying eyes. Who the hell are you? He demanded quietly. That wasn't an act. You know this world. You know these people. Clara met his gaze steadily. I told you from the beginning. I've been here before. Stop being cryptic. I need the truth. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke, her voice soft but clear. My name isn't just Clara. It's Calayton Denver. The name hit Elias like a physical blow. Denver. As in Silas Den, the architect who'd built half the city's skyline before his empire collapsed in scandal 5 years ago. You're his daughter, Elias breathed. Clara's eyes held his. And Vivien Arlo destroyed everything my family built. Elias stared at Clara Calayton, his mind racing. Vivien destroyed your family? She was my father's business partner. Clara's voice was steady, but pain flickered beneath the surface. Charming, brilliant, persuasive, she convinced him to trust her with everything. Then she forged documents, manipulated accounts, and made it look like he'd been embezzling millions. My God! When it all came crashing down, my father took the fall. The scandal killed him literally. Heart attack during the investigation. My mother couldn't survive the grief. She died 6 months later. Clara's hands clenched. I lost everything. Our home, our name, our place in this world. I've spent the last 5 years surviving, waiting for the right moment. And I gave you that moment, Elias said quietly. You gave me an opening, a way back into this world, close enough to Vivien to finally prove what she did. Elias ran a hand through his hair. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Would you have helped a homeless woman seeking revenge against your ex-girlfriend? She shook her head. You needed to see me first. See that I belonged here. That I wasn't just some desperate stranger. He couldn't argue with that logic. What's your plan? I don't have all the pieces yet. But Vivien remembers me. I could see it in her eyes. She's scared I'll expose her. She'll come after you, Elias warned. She's powerful now. She has resources, connections. So do you. Clara stepped closer. Are you with me or not? Elias studied her face, the determination, the carefully controlled pain, the fierce intelligence that had drawn him to her on that sidewalk. He'd wanted someone unforgettable to bring to this wedding. He'd found someone unstoppable. I'm with you, he said. But we do this smart. We gather evidence, build an airtight case. We don't just wound her. We make sure she can never hurt anyone again. Relief flashed across Clara's face. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Vivien is ruthless. This is going to get ugly. I'm counting on it. They returned to the ballroom, but the atmosphere had changed. Elias could feel eyes on them, more intense now, more curious. Vivien appeared again, her smile gone. Elias, could I speak with you? Alone? He glanced at Clara, who nodded slightly. Vivien led him to a private balcony overlooking the city. The night air was cold, the stars distant. Who is she really? Vivien demanded, dropping all pretense. I told you. Her name is Clara. Don't lie to me. I know her from somewhere. That face, those eyes. Vivien's hands trembled. Where did you find her? Elias kept his expression neutral. Does it matter? It matters to me. Vivien's composure cracked. She doesn't belong here, Elias. People like her, they're dangerous. They destroy things. Like you destroyed her father? Vivien went completely still. The color drained from her face. You remember now, don't you? Elias said softly. Clara Den, daughter of the man you framed. Vivien's voice was barely a whisper. What does she want? What do you think? Elias turned to leave. Justice. He walked away, leaving Vivien alone on the balcony, her perfect wedding night beginning to crumble around her. Inside, Clara was waiting. The game had truly begun. The week after the wedding was chaos. Vivien launched a preemptive strike through the media. Clara Den resurfaces, daughter of disgraced architect crashes high society event. Headlines screamed questions about Clara's intentions, her past, her suspicious connection to Elias Thorne. But Elias had anticipated this. His legal team worked around the clock, and his private investigator uncovered what they needed: bank records showing transfers from Vivien's accounts to offshore havens, emails between her and her lawyers discussing how to handle the Den situation, even a recorded phone call where she admitted to falsifying documents. It's enough, Elias told Clara as they sat in his office. Evidence spread across the desk. We can bring her down. Clara stared at the documents, proof of her father's innocence, proof of Vivien's guilt. Her hands shook slightly. Are you sure you want to do this? Elias asked gently. Once we release this, there's no going back. Your name will be everywhere. Your privacy will be gone. I lost my privacy 5 years ago when she destroyed my family, Clara said firmly. At least this time, people will know the truth. 2 days later, an invitation arrived embossed in gold, sealed with Vivien's crest. A private dinner at the exclusive Harrington Club. It's a trap, Elias said immediately. Of course it is. Clara held the invitation calmly. She wants to face me directly, try to intimidate me into silence. Then you're not going. I'm going. Clara's voice was steel. This ends now. That evening, Clara arrived at the Harrington Club wearing a simple black dress, elegant, dignified, unafraid. Elias watched from a distance, having insisted on being there despite her protests. Vivien waited at a private table, her smile cold. Clara, or should I call you Clara? Call me whatever makes you feel powerful, Clara said, sitting down. It won't change what's coming. And what's that? Some dramatic confrontation. Vivien laughed. You have no proof. Everything you think you know is speculation. Is it? Clara placed a folder on the table. Vivien's confidence wavered. She opened it slowly, her face going pale as she saw the bank records, the emails, the recorded conversations. How did you? You underestimated me. You always did. Clara leaned forward. You thought destroying my father would be the end of it, that I'd simply disappear, broken and forgotten. But you forgot something important. What's that? I'm my father's daughter, and he taught me never to surrender. At that moment, 2 police officers entered the club. Vivien stood abruptly, backing away. This is a mistake. I'm Vivien Arlo. You're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy, the officer said, producing handcuffs. As they led her away, Vivien's perfect mask finally shattered. She looked at Clara with pure hatred and fear. Clara stood watching, tears streaming down her face. Not from sadness, but release. Years of pain, anger, and determination finally finding resolution. Elias appeared at her side. It's over. No, Clara said softly, wiping her tears. It's just beginning. 6 months later, Clara stood in her new office, sleek, modern, overlooking the city her father had helped build. Her company, Veil Strategies, was already gaining recognition for championing underdogs in business disputes. The door opened. Elias walked in carrying 2 cups of coffee. Busy day? He asked. Always. She smiled, accepting the coffee. Thank you. For everything. You did this yourself. No. We did it together. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside was a simple key. To our future, he said quietly. Clara looked at the key, then at him. I'm not afraid anymore. Then marry me. Her answer came through tears and laughter and a kiss that tasted like hope. Yes, they married quietly, far from cameras and society pages. Just waves, vows, and a second chance at life. Months later, when Clara discovered she was pregnant, they cried together this time from joy. They named their daughter Hope, because after everything, the betrayal, the loss, the long road back, they had built something unshakable. Not revenge, redemption, and a future that finally felt like home. We've come to the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories.